You know, so many years I've been watching elections.
This would be unprecedented. We have never had a presidential election delayed.
But at the top of everyone's minds is the race for president. President Donald Trump's looking to secure a second term.
Because this is an election unlike any other in history, it's hard to know what to expect on this election night.
I don't want to delay. I want to have the election. But I also don't want to have to wait for 3 months and then find out that the ballots are all missing and the election doesn't mean anything.
The president is already claiming victory, but neither candidate has the total number of electoral votes.
Well, never in the history of the country, through wars, depressions, and the Civil War, have we ever not had a federally scheduled election on time. And we'll find a way to do that again this November 3rd.
Any answers into why the delay in the first results?
And you see what's happening with so many different places. They're doing even trial runs. They're a disaster.
Where they're having a big problem counting some of the votes. Mark?
After record early returns and essentially a day of problem-free voting, there is now a hitch in the tabulation of votes.
So we may not know the results even today, but the most important thing is that we have accurate results.
So I think we're going to have a great night, but it's politics and it's elections and you never know.
It has been 18 hours since the polls closed and final election results are still not in yet. Election officials say that a technical issue with the paper used to print ballots caused a problem with tabulation.
And now a federal judge in Washington, D.C. has ordered a sweep of 12 postal districts in a bid to track down undelivered mail-in ballots.
They have a little bit of delay opening the polling place, or there's a technical difficulty at some point. In this case, there were printers that didn't work, or people didn't know the right code to enter into the software.
And they say the projected winner or the winner of the election. I don't want to see that take place in a week after November 3rd or a month or, frankly, with litigation and everything else that can happen, years.
Hey guys, PayDroV here. So I want to talk about how they are delaying this election, and I feel this is all subliminal for calm before the storm. As Trump said a couple years ago, he used this term, calm before the storm.
You guys know what this represents?
Tell us, sir.
I don't know, maybe it's the calm before the storm.
What storm, Mr. President?
You'll find out.
Now, everyone is patiently waiting for the mainstream media to tell them who their president is, even though they're all puppets.
Is the president trying to, do that? Absolutely. I mean, I don't think I don't think that that's a secret. I wouldn't say necessarily that he's trying to throw people off, but he's not trying to broadcast or telegraph his exact actions. I think we've seen what a failure it is when an administration does that, and this is a president who's going to do it differently and do it better.
Back in the 2016 election, when Trump and Hillary were running, they announced Trump to be the winner almost on that exact night, right away.
Donald J. Trump is the president of the United States elect.
There's a reason this is being delayed, and it's all planned to get people more involved and have a greater reaction.
A tweet yesterday suggesting the November election could be delayed. He has no constitutional power to do that. Mr. Trump also continues to make unsubstantiated claims that increased mail-in voting will result in fraud.
When Trump was selected, they would use him to take the heat off Hillary.
The downside is it's not really a relevant argument. Hillary Clinton doesn't run anything anymore. She doesn't represent the modern Democratic Party. They've moved on to another planet, and that's the point. Democratic leaders are now saying things far more extreme than anything a Midwestern Methodist like Hillary Clinton ever would have said or thought. And somebody ought to run against them, not against the ghost of some elderly retired nominee from last cycle.
We beat crooked Hillary, crooked Hillary. Now we have a guy that makes Hillary look like a baby.
And fulfill so much more agendas than if Hillary were to be president. She would have not gotten away with it like Trump has. And this is facts.
Biden will raise your taxes over $4 trillion. Man, it's not him. Do you think it's him? He doesn't have a clue.
So it has worked. And now everyone is focused on Biden or Kamala.
No, but he's fragile. He's not going to be there. That's not what they're counting on. They're counting on somebody else. They're counting on by far the most liberal person in the Senate, Kamala. They like her.
All these other puppets, and it's been a distraction, and the people are falling into the deception more and more.
You see that behind me? That's where they're counting those 400,000 ballots that are still outstanding that could really change the course of the entire election in 2020.
Now, the last thing I want to talk about is the Simpsons episode that was shown on Halloween. It pictures an apocalypse after Homer did not vote. The city is gone and burned up, and there's robots everywhere taking over, and the date is scheduled on January 20, 2021.
That's today.
Another thing to point out from this is the current presidential term officially ends on January 20, 2021. So if the election results are not finalized by that date, then Trump is out and Pence is out. But how would they be able to do that, keep us in the dark until that day? Or could they? Is that why they call this the dark winter? Who knows, but the predictive programming would not go unnoticed.
Postponing an election by just a couple of weeks or even a month would simply mean a later result. However, it becomes complicated if the election is moved past January 20th.
The Constitution's vague and ambiguous on a lot of things, but this one is crystal clear that at noon on January 20th, on Inauguration Day, the president's term is over and the vice president's term is over. For some reason, we don't have an election. At 12:01, he's out of office, period.
I just wanted to quickly shine some light on that. And with that being said, have faith, remain vigilant, and God bless you all.